think you should.
What's going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video we will be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Storm. So shout out to, I believe it was, let's see, Crypto Masties. I will put your name right here. Thank you for typing in what your favorite altcoin was or your top altcoin to review. We will be doing that today. Otherwise, if you guys didn't watch my last video, I am doing a raffle for a Bitcoin t-shirt to give back to you guys for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you'd like to get involved in that and want to learn how you can win it, I'll post the directions in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Otherwise, let's get on with the program. So let's just refresh the cryptocurrency market cap here and take a quick look-see at what is going on, because a lot has happened. Well, to start off, we can clearly see Neo is running all the coins up 10%. Crypto, we see some crypto getting money moving back into the market cap. We're now up $20 billion from yesterday, which is awesome to see, considering we were very, very, very low yesterday at 300 billion, which was like increasingly low. What's nice to see though is that the Bitcoin dominance is slowly going up. We're at 44%, although not where we need it to be at $8,344. Again, this is a time period where I think after all that crazy hype last year in 2017, we need to do some consolidation and eventually move up, maybe even retest those all-time highs that we had. Ripple up 6.4%. Litecoin up 2%. So a lot of consolidation we're seeing, a lot of making up for the movements we had yesterday. So moving on to Litecoin, I just wanted to point out something. I'm going to refresh this quick and get a better chart. Let's see if it goes to what I wanted. No. So basically I was watching a few other YouTubers that were reviewing the Litecoin chart, and I just wanted to sync my chart to make it look similar to theirs, because the way my chart was lining up is as if we already broke out of the pennant flag, which wasn't necessarily the case. So I'm going to just go onto the 4-hour and hopefully we can get a better view. Alright, so when I reviewed the other people's charts, it looked something more or less like this. I initially had mine started off very low, but this time around I have it almost, here I'll show you, almost starting at the breakout point. So right around here, and then we can either move this up, but that's not exactly how he had it. He kind of had it somewhere around here, the other YouTubers. So again, withdrawing lines of resistance and lines of support, it's a constantly changing thing. Like, no one can be sure where these lines fall into place. No one can be sure where to exactly draw them. It's just a kind of guessing game as you move on, but you can infer and use statistics and base your charts off of previous patterns within that currency. So by adjusting it like so, you'll notice we started at the breakout this time, and we are moving up. So the way I had it before was we already broke out of it, but the way this is now looking is that we are still good and continuing this uptrend. So very nice to see that. As for where I want to draw this point, it's very hard to say. I'd probably have it drawn like that for now, but we will continuously check in as the time goes up. But we are pretty much around 80% through this pennant flag, which is good per se, because when we look back on the other breakouts Litecoin had, after a long run like this, once we hit the 80% mark, we started to see an uptrend in cryptocurrency, in Litecoin. What I mean by that is, I wish I could just zoom back on another breakout. I don't have it all mapped out, but basically when we, let's say, for example, something like this, we were able to track how high it went compared, we were able to draw another pennant flag. And then when that pennant flag was at around the 80% mark in its journey across into the it's kind of spiraling down, at the 80% mark, that's where the currency reversed, and we started to see an uptrend in the currency. Whether that will happen with Litecoin now is a guessing game, but we will find out, only because you can see that we did get a reversal candle right here, which is very nice to see. This was happening all of today, this morning when I was driving back up to college now, so I am back in college. So you can see that we did have this reversal candle. We retested, which could be the actual line of support right now, popped right off that and are now heading up. Most likely going to retest the middle moving average at around 180, and then hopefully we can move higher and break out, because that is what we're expecting to see now after such a long pennant flag formation. Now that we are pretty much in the end of the pennant flag, this is going to be the area of more movement per se. This is where we can expect to see either a huge run up or a huge downtrend. As you'll notice before, this was a huge run downwards, and we did break up out of it, but we were all self-contained in one big triangle. So now that we are coming to an end, this is where we will start to see a major change in the currency. Now these were very small runs, only from, let's say, 130 to 230, so only $100, where if we do break out here, we can see a much higher run. Seeing the size of this triangle, you would basically subtract, so we have around 100, and we would have around 420, subtract the difference, we get a 320 run, so you move that to the breakout point, which is around here, and you'd add 320 to 156, and you'd get a pretty major run up to like the $500 range, which is pretty awesome to see, definitely beating the all-time high. So that is very good news. I would just recommend keep hodling onto Litecoin, because there is a lot of potential that could happen very shortly. So this is going to be a very interesting week, I would say, coming into, you'll notice it literally ends in the beginning of April, so we'll definitely see some, hopefully, movements, big plays in Litecoin. Moving on to Bitcoin, kind of doing the same thing. You'll notice on the daily chart, we are within a pennant flag formation right here, and what's very interesting and also cool is this is a pretty solid resistance, or a pretty solid support line for Bitcoin. You'll see numerous times how we've popped off. Started here, bounced off it for a B point, and then bounced off it for a D point, and we are now looking to move up higher for a potential E point, and hopefully a break upwards, as with Litecoin as well. So definitely something to pay attention to as well. You'll notice that these are both pretty much at the end in the 80% range of their triangle, of their pennant flag, so it'll be very interesting to see if they both move upwards in price. We'll see if the news has anything to add to that as well. Moving on to Ethereum, let's just check out this. Very interesting play right here. Definitely what I could have seen happening. I'm just going to zoom out. Let's just show you on the daily. We did seem to break down, but then shot up quite rapidly. Whoa. Okay. That was pretty cool. Don't know how I did that. Alright, so let's get a good look at Ethereum. Well, we definitely broke downwards out of this triangle right here. It is possible to move this farther down, per se. I wouldn't connect it upwards, but it's possible to keep something along the lines of like maybe like this, and then extend this out longer. Definitely a possibility. Maybe something like that. But honestly, the way Ethereum is playing out is that it still has some consolidation to do. We still are in a downwards movement due to the formation of this cryptocurrency and how quickly we rose up in price on Ethereum. It has to, unfortunately, come back down to correct itself because it went so high up. What's good, though, is that because we are below the middle moving average, at some point we do need to come back up and retest that. So we will be heading up hopefully soon. And we are oversold on the RSI, so that is another cool indicator that will tell us that we are due for an upwards trend. Not sure how big, but definitely some upwards movement to balance out the price. But based on this, we still are on a solid downtrend for Ethereum due to this huge downwards channel that we are pushing. A lot of resistance on the currency, and the only way I'm going to stay bearish, the only way I'm going to go bullish on Ethereum is if I see us break up out of this downwards trend. But until then, it's pretty much in a bearish state right now, unlike Litecoin and Bitcoin, which are doing its own thing and separated from Ethereum, which is usually what happens. Now, looking at Storm, from what you guys told me, it seems like this is a relatively new currency, or at least there's not a lot of data being traded on here, because the chart only goes back to March 12th, which is literally right around the corner, like last week, which is very interesting. So it must have been an ICO. Don't hate me if I was wrong, but it just started on TradingView for whatever reason. But the way it's trading is, what happens with ICOs is there's a lot of hype behind ICOs, and depending on the amount of currency, let's just check it out actually. The amount of circulating supply versus the price usually is an indicator on which way the price will go. So, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So on a coin like this that started, here we gotta get let's go to markets. Actually, let's go back to charts. So on a currency, let's see. On a currency that went up to approximately 23 cents. Okay, interesting. So on CoinMarketCap, we do get a longer chart than on TradingView. Not sure why, but basically what happens with currencies like Storm that are relatively new, having a circulating supply of 4, I believe, billion tokens, with a total supply of 10 billion tokens, people like to think that when the coin is released at $1, it will go up because that's cheap, but that's just not possible mathematically. With a circulating supply of 4 billion, when you release a coin at $1, it's just going to even out, and with that much in a supply, it has to go down. That's why I'm not a big fan of ICOs, whether this was one, and of course it was, but I believe this must have been a just released coin back in the end of 2017. So with a coin like that, it's just not, I don't really like to invest in ICOs unless I'm really, really, really certain it's going to be a popular one. But otherwise, majority of ICOs overvalue their coin. You buy into it, even $1 a token is a lot, and then it usually just plummets right off the bat because they have such massive circulating supplies and total supplies that it just doesn't make sense to buy in the currency. It's not going to just shoot up in price or go higher. It just can't happen without new money coming into the market and jacking up Storm as well as all the other currencies. So if this was to go up to like $1, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum would also be getting money into their currency, and that would also shoot it up too. They're not all going to go to Storm. But based on this chart, I am on the hourly. I'm just going to move on to like the 4-hour chart, even though it's not big for whatever reason. It's just on a coin like this, I wouldn't really invest money into it because it's so new by the way this is trading. But it is making certain points though. So this, you can see, is a line of support, and that is a line of resistance, but there is also a strong downtrend on Storm as well. You can see right around here. So it'll be very interesting to see in the next few days what exactly happens, or whether or not it breaks lower, because it's very possible that it can, due to how new this coin is. It doesn't really have much support to go off of, but based on this chart, I wouldn't really buy in right now. I'd wait to see what happens when we retest this line of resistance. If we can break through this line of resistance right here, then I'd recommend buying in, because then I can see it popping up ever so slightly and hitting resistance right around here is another line. So basically for Storm, what I recommend is if we break above this line of resistance right here, follow it up until we hit this line right here, and then I'd sell off your currency and I'd sell off your position, because it's just way too new based on this chart. Otherwise, I wouldn't really recommend buying into it, because there's a very good chance that we could also break lower and start going down to lower lows and making more lines of support on the downside. So I wouldn't buy in at all into this coin until we see it move above this line of resistance here, and then I'd recommend buying in. But otherwise, that's pretty much going to sum up the video for today. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I am doing a giveaway. Check the description. And if you have any other cryptocurrencies you'd like me to look at, like Storm or anything in that nature, leave a comment below and I will make sure we shout you out. So I will see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.